Hey guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes the Beast being too powerful for the Rangers, if Universal could talk to the animals, the Assassins will strike when fall comes, Amazon getting political, baseball's biggest moment will now be a movie, Deadpool's other cable plan, The Court of Zootopia, The Tale of Yasuke, Amy ain't the Barbie girl anymore, and guess what's not a real name? So with that said, let's get things started.
No one stays in the top spot like Gaston.
The live-action reboot of Beauty and the Beast continues to go strong on its second weekend at the box office by making about half of its record-breaking opening with more than $88 million. However, when it came to the new big movie this week, Power Rangers, it may not have even gotten half of what the Disney film just made, but it still started out pretty well for itself with more than $40 million. However, the same might not be said for the other new movies, including Sony's Life only starting off in 4th place with more than $12.5 million behind Kong Skull Island, which made almost $15 million. As for Chips, there doesn't seem to be much promise with its financial returns, as the film began only with more than $7.5 million in 7th place, behind older films like Logan with about $10 million, and Get Out with almost $9 million.
Sold to the globe with the giant letters.
Universal had to fight it off at an auction in order to get the rights to create a movie called The Voyage of Doctor Dolittle, based on the children's books of the 1920s by Hugh Lofting. The project has already gotten some well-respected names attached, including Stephen Gahan on board as the writer and director, and Robert Downey Jr. is set to star as the Doctor. Joe Roth, Susan Downey, and Jeff Kirschenbaum will be producing the feature under the Team Downey and Roth Kirschenbaum film banner. The battle at the auction for this piece had Universal fight off Sony and 20th Century Fox. The latter had already made some Dr. Dolittle features, including the 1967 film by Rex Harrison and the movies from the late 1990s starring Eddie Murphy. They're finally taking aim. Lionsgate and CBS Films have given American Assassin a September release date. The movie, based on one of the novels in the Mitch Rapp series by Vince Flynn, it's about a Cold War veteran, Stan Hurley, and his deputy director who goes out in the Middle East to stop people from starting World War III. The cast includes Dylan O'Brien as Mitch Rapp, Michael Keaton as Stan Hurley, Sana Aladdin as the deputy director, Shiva Nagar as a Turkish agent, and Taylor Kish as an operative who wants to start the war. Michael Cuesta is on board to direct, and the script was written by Stephen Schiff. On its release date, the movie will be fighting off with Sony's Ice Age survival film, The Soluthian. American Assassin will be coming out in theaters on September 15th. Before Hillary Clinton, there was this woman who played ball, only without any Russians involved to screw her over. Amazon Studios bought a pitch package deal where one of the movies attached was Victoria Woodhull. Although no director is yet to be a part of the project, they do have Lloyd Brahm, Andrew Mittman, and John Eric Capps as producers, and Anne Woodward as executive producer. Also, Brie Larson will be a producer as well, on top of playing the titular character. The movie will tell the true story of Victoria Woodhull, who was the first woman to be nominated for being President of the United States 40 years before women could even vote. The movie could be looking into her life and how she got into the history books thanks to the help of her con artist father, who knew how to handle a crowd. The writing will be done by Ben Coppett, who previously wrote the upcoming Libertine with Brett Ratner as the director. With all the tragedies that happened, like the death of many stars and the rise of a fascist dictator, at least there will be something good to remember 2016 by. Radar Pictures has gotten the rights to the upcoming memoir Teammate, My Journey in Baseball and a World Series for the Ages by retired catcher David Ross. The book covers the 2016 World Series where the Chicago Cubs won for the first time in 108 years. In their final game, the Cubs managed to get the ultimate win with an 8-7 score in 10 innings. Ross will now move his career to television, where he will appear in this year's Dancing with the Stars and be an analyst for this year's season on ESPN. John Corcoran and Ram Getz are in charge of adapting the memoir, and Radar Pictures' Ted Fields will be on board as the producer with Getz and Mike Weber. I might have talked about this with another guy, but here's another contender for the title. Fox has now another person who could play Nathan Summers, aka Cable, in the upcoming Deadpool 2, this time being Michael Shannon. Recently, the movie did manage to get someone casted as Domino, which is Zazie Beetz from the hit show Atlanta. Although many of the creative team is set to come back in the sequel, Tim Miller is reported not to return as the director, due to creative differences with the star Ryan Reynolds, and instead will have John Wick's David Leitch. On a couple of occasions, Deadpool has teased audiences about the inclusion of Cable in the movie, who the Merc with the Mouth has already collaborated in numerous of comics. The first was when he announced it in the post-credits of the first movie, and in the teaser for the second film, when a phone booth had the writing that said Nathan Summers coming soon. Now that the movie made $1 billion at the box office and got an Oscar, time for people to come in and try to take the glory from Disney. Gary Goldman, the writer of Total Recall and Big Trouble in Little China, has filed a federal lawsuit stating that Disney stole his idea for Zootopia. The claim stated that Goldman had pitched twice to Disney about an animated movie starring talking animals in a complex society, and that Zootopia copies many elements from his original idea, including characters, plot elements, and even some lines. Representative of Goldman stated, instead of lawfully acquiring Goldman's works, defendants said they were not interested in producing it and sent him on his way. Thereafter, consistent with their culture of unauthorized copying, defendants copied Goldman's work. Disney responded by saying, Mr. Goldman's lawsuit is riddled with patently false allegations. It is an unprincipled attempt to lay claim to a successful film he didn't create, and we will vigorously defend against it in court. There can be only one to adapt this tale. Gregory Wyden, known to be the creator of the 1986 cult classic Highlander, has signed on with Lionsgate in order to write the script for Black Samurai. Although no cast, director, or release date is attached to the project, both Michael DeLuca and Stephen Lheureux will be on board as producers. The movie will be an action drama based on the historic events of a man named Yatsuke, known to be the first ever Black Samurai in feudal Japan. During the mid-1500s, he worked for a warlord named Oda Nobunaga, and he was the only African to ever reach the rankings that he did. The other films that Wyden has written during his career includes Backdraft in 1991 and The Prophecy in 1995. Well, so much for getting our own Schumer doll. Amy Schumer has announced that she will no longer be working on Sony's live-action feature of Barbie. The reason for her departure is because of conflicts with her schedule, where she is on a promotional tour for Fox's Snatched and will be filming She Came to Me with Steve Carell and Rebecca Miller directing. Schumer stated, "The film has so much promise, and Sony and Mattel have been great partners. I'm bummed, but look forward to seeing Barbie on the big screen." The story is said to be very similar to films such as Enchanted and The Smurfs, where the main character gets exiled from Barbie Land and has to go into the real world because she is not perfect. So far, there is no word rather if the events hurt the production for both Sony and Mattel, but the movie is still scheduled to be released so far on June 29th, 2018. Here's what you should know about Solo and the Wookiee. During a UCS tech conference, Disney CEO Bob Iger discussed about the progress that the company is doing with the Star Wars franchise, on top of the news that he will officially be stepping down as CEO in 2019. He started with how he has seen Episode 8, which is titled as The Last Jedi, and that he will not change anything in response to the passing of Carrie Fisher. But the big news came in when Iger revealed some small information about the untitled Han Solo movie directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. He said that the movie will be an entire origin story where we see Han Solo from the age of 18 to 24, where the movie will explain how he got the Millennium Falcon, met Chewbacca, and even mentions what is his real name. He also stated that the creative team at Disney is currently working on the later films after Episode 9, where they are thinking up ideas for the next decade and a half. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, you can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you were watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!